The Karen Show. The Karen Show. The Karen Show. Let's go. Let's go. The Karen Show.
Hey everybody, it's me and Enzo here. I'll give it a chance for people to get in, but I hope everybody's having a lovely Easter. It's Easter Sunday here in Australia, so it's 10 a.m. Sunday morning, Easter Sunday. My Easter's been quiet. I've been doing lots of housework and lots of work in the garden. So there you go. What about you?
Have you already bitten the ears off the chocolate bunny?
I didn't have a chocolate bunny. I'm trying to keep the weight under control. I'm doing very well. But that's kind of a lie too. I didn't have a chocolate bunny, but I did have a chocolate Easter egg 2 days ago on Good Friday. I ate a little egg. It was a Humpty Dumpty egg. I don't know if you get those in America. It's Humpty Dumpty, and he's got, here we put Smarties in him. In America, maybe you could put M&Ms in him, but it's just a little Humpty Dumpty egg, chocolate. And then you break it open, and there's, for us, Smarties, but as I say, M&Ms. We make M&Ms, but that's what I ate on Friday. So that was
like a Kinder egg kind of a thing, where there's stuff on the inside of it.
Yeah, like a Kinder egg. Yeah, but it's just chocolate. So it's an Easter egg wrapped up in foil to look like Humpty Dumpty, and when you break it open, there's Smarties inside, and Smarties are like, but not the same, as M&Ms. So there you go. So let's have a look. Oh, I don't know if Tanya's here. I think she might be. And Laura, hi Laura, if you're here. I don't know. Some people pop in and pop out, you know. There we go. Tanya is here. Happy Easter, Tanya. Hope you're doing all right over there. Hi, Pom. I'm Rudy. Hello. Anne, hello. So, yes, people pop in. But, yeah, so as you can probably see from the thumbnail, we'll start talking about it shortly, but steak dinner. Oh, it's nice to have someone cook for you, isn't it? and thank you, Tanya, for your continued support. Like I say every time, I don't forget that people help me out, so it's good. And although I haven't put up any videos of late, just due to having, lack of motivation. I look at all my footage from where I've been, and I'm like, I don't know, because I want to put something up that shows people that some of these haunted places I went to are haunted, but everything I look at, they're not haunted. And then I didn't get haunted. So every time I go to put something together, it's like, so that's why I'm just going to approach it as in, yes, I went to this haunted location. Nothing happened, but here's the history of the haunted location. So that's probably just how I'll go about it. Hello, Tom Thumb. I haven't seen you for a while. There you go. And hi, Carla. Hi, lovely lady. So I'm just trying to get motivated back in to making more content. But because I have some loyal people that are my members and help me out, it's really good because it helps pay for that research, the databases I use, because they're not expensive, but they're not cheap. And it's kind of like, so if you try to do research for anything without using those databases, it's really hard to get the information, especially if you want to look, like a lot of times I look at newspaper clippings. I go back to old newspapers and things like that, and that's newspapers.com, which is associated with ancestry.com, like they're linked. So if I didn't have that database to use, and it's expensive, if I didn't have that, it would be really hard to get actual real information, if that makes sense. Especially a lot of my research will take me to family trees as well. So it might say, for example, I did a little bit of research, and most of you guys would remember that Joe Vitale went to that place called, the haunted house, the Hill House, I think it's called. And hi Dee, and I did some research on the Hill House for him, and I utilised I utilized ancestry.com. Another one that's I don't use as much, but Ancestries, but I use the newspapers and all that sort of thing. And I went right back and dug right back. So I was able to actually find out for Joe that, yeah, a lot of what that house proclaims to be factual is absolute bullshit. So I left that at that because they threatened him with legal action. And I thought, well, I haven't signed any paperwork with them to say, so if you do a deep dive into history of places with the correct databases, you can get the truth. It's just in the paranormal world, a lot of people don't want the truth. And they don't care. They don't really care about the history of a place. They just want to get, oh, I saw a ghost or a shadow person. So that's kind of like why, I go a bit, I've just gone a bit off of it. And that's why. Does that make sense, Enzo? It's kind of like
it does. And to be fair, it's like that in other groups as well. If you're doing like a UFO show or a cryptid show, they want to hear the tall tale. They want to hear the exciting thing. This giant creature walked out in front of me as I was driving down the lonely dark road in the middle of the night, or I saw a light in the sky and it made me think happy thoughts. Whatever it is, that a lot of people, they want to hear the story. They want to hear the tall tale. They may not necessarily want to hear about, okay, this is what really happened. This place is haunted by person X. And it's like, person X actually never lived in that place. They were never visited that area. They were never born there. They never died there, all that stuff. And that kind of ruins the story. There's a place I feel for, I greatly enjoy a well-told tale, but then to turn around and say, well, that's not exactly how it happened. That's not true.
Yeah.
People don't like to hear that part of it.
Oh, what room is Tanya? Did I miss something? Damn, it's true. I really do get about. Oh, I see. Yeah. Hi, Ashes. So if I've missed anybody, apologies. I think I've said hello to everybody. If I haven't, you can go cook at me. But that's what's happening at the moment. That's why I go to get, I sit down at my computer, I pull out my files, I start to look through them, and there's nothing, so far, nothing's happened in all of the places I went to in England. Apart from what I put up for the Ancient Ram Inn, and even that's questionable. Like that, nothing thus far has been. Have I found in any of the footage I've gone through? But the footage I've got is interesting because I'm in these really old castles and buildings, and it's interesting. And then I look to see what the history of some of these places is that I've been to, and the history has all these big, and this happened and that happened, and then you look into it and you go, oh no, it didn't, so that's why it's really difficult, because I absolutely want the paranormal to be real, and I think in some instances absolutely weird things happen, and I do believe in the paranormal to a point where it becomes that when nothing's happening, people make it happen or say it happened when it didn't happen. And Carla, Carla's been through a little bit of drama, which I do tend to stay away from. But I didn't watch Carla's episode, but you can put a link up to it. I think you can put a link up to it, Carla. Hang on, Carla. Wait a minute. I'm about to do something. Oh, I can't because I'm not in Facebook. I'm not in YouTube. Actually, anyway, people can go to Carla's horror channel. She did a video on, oh, no, that's right. You took it down, didn't you? She actually took the video. I'm getting there. I know I'm all over the place with what I'm about to say. Carla did a video where she called out somebody for possible fakery, right? And backlash hit because she said, hey, this doesn't look right, or whatever she said. And because the person she called out is within the paranormal community and has been for a while, there was backlash. And I thought, you know what, people? If you put stuff up on YouTube and claim it to be paranormal, or say, oh, this really happened and I got really frightened, whatever it is, you open yourself up for critique. Now, so long as the critique is done, you know, some people aren't nice when they do some people are nasty when they do their critique, and that is the issue, nastiness. But Carla wasn't nasty. She was just pointing something out. So she copped a whole heap of back, you know, like nastiness, to the point where she took down her content. I personally, Carla, would have probably not taken it down, but I understand the pressure, especially with the people that it was that you called out. Ultimately, though, if you want to claim your stuff is real, you need to be prepared to be questioned over it, and have, like anything, have a decent conversation and say, well, oh, okay, I see your point. I see what you're picking there. Oh, yeah, well, I guess it can be taken that way. You know, you can have a conversation and understand, so long as it's not put out, oh, they're just fakers and look what they did, which Carla didn't do. All right. Yeah, just edit it, take out anything that you think might be nasty, but I'd put it back up, because
and that is the double-edged sword. Is there are people out there that their whole channel is, this person's fake, that person's fake, and they did this and all this other stuff, and you know, getting that outrage part of it up there. And I'm not pointing any fingers, because honestly, there's a whole lot of you out there that are doing that. It doesn't matter whatever it is that they're doing. That these are things that are almost beyond our understanding. We're trying to figure it out as just regular people. And if you capture something on video, they're like, hey, this is what I got. It's blurry. It's out of focus. It's you know, here's the context of what was going on when it happened, and this is what I got. This is the evidence I have. It's great. It doesn't, you know, distinctly, you know, prove anything, but it's what I saw.
Well, that's like, and whenever
somebody will pile on it.
Yeah,
that in After Effects, or you used AI, or all the things to just crap on it. And in all honesty, it could be just, and that could be true. It also could be true. It's just like they just happen to be in the right place at the right time with a video camera running, or their phone or whatever, and happen to caught something kind of strange. And they're going to get lumped into that. Well, you're just a big faker and you want people to sign up for your channel. You're just doing it for the clicks and all that stuff, when in all sincerity, it could just be, hey, I saw something weird. What do you guys think? And they're just getting piled on, which is going to drive them away from the community, even though they may have actually captured something unusual. Hi, Cheryl. And they are now in this place. It's like, man, I didn't think I was going to get this much grief of just having it. Yeah, it's a UFO video. It's a UFO video. It's a Bigfoot video. It's a ghost video. It's all the things.
I've, as everybody knows, in regard to the paranormal community, there's only a few people I still keep my eye on. Carla is one of them. And Carla, I don't watch everything, because I don't, but I do when I can, right? Laura, who I still support and watch. The Shape, I still am subscribed to the Shape's channel. And honestly, I think that's it so far as the parent, because I stay subscribed to people that have been kind to me. So the Shape, or John, has been awfully kind to me over the years. He's always been supportive, and I find him to be a very nice person, even when he does his debunking videos, which is what he does. Even when he does them, he's not nasty to people. He doesn't call them horrible names. Do you know what I mean? And he mixes it up. So he lightens it up. He's getting into the critique. He's saying, this is what I think. But he also lightens it up with a bit of humour and comedy. So it makes it easy to take in and easy to watch, because you don't get all stressed. Whereas other debunking channels, as much as I think the people themselves that I have met are lovely, they are, it's not as nice. It's, what's the word? It's more stressful to watch. It's just hard. So I took myself away from watching all of that sort of stuff. So I tend to just still support the people that have been good to me and kind to me and supportive. but I absolutely unsubscribed from just about everything. I can't think of one paranormal channel that does paranormal. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm no longer subscribed, because what I was finding was that things would pop up and it'd be stressful, really stressful to watch. And I'd think, oh, I don't want to know. Or you'd watch someone. There's quite a few that go to places that I've already researched. There's a few groups that I used to follow that would go, for example, to the Sally House. As Enzo knows and anyone else knows, I love the history of the Sally House. The Sally House, anywhere in Virginia City, and they'd go to these places that I know damn well what the history is. I know the history. I know the truth. Yet these channels that people I know and were going to these places and just coming out with this absolute fucking bullshit. And I'm like, guys, do your research. Don't fucking tell me someone lived and died in the house when I know they freaking didn't. So I was getting really angry. See? So I thought, yep, no, unsubscribe. What I don't see, it's like putting your head in it. What I don't see, I don't see. So I understand, for example, where Carla was coming from, because Carla obviously still is subscribed to a lot of people and still sees a lot of things. So I have still not actually seen what Carla was referring to when she did her video, but I know the people involved. So for me, and again, I stepped back. As much as I think that the people involved are nice people, you've still got to remember that what they're trying to do is create an income, create some fame around what they do. So therefore, just like Ghost Adventures or any of those other shows, it is what it is. It's not real. It's not real. And the sad thing is they could get something that's real, but you're never going to know because it's always caught up with BS.
Yeah, it's tainted.
It's tainted already. So if you want to watch something by anybody that's paranormal, watch it through, well, this is entertaining. That's entertaining, but don't believe it. Don't believe it, because and look, people can say what they want to say about things. But I've investigated places, and sure, I don't have 100% as much experience. I don't have the big cameras. I don't have the equipment. But to be quite honest, if something's haunted, you don't need all that equipment. You really don't. It's more like it's just something and Enzo knows, because now you've been on a few little investigations yourself.
I've been on a few.
The equipment itself is a bit of fun. It's fun. It's something to keep you occupied, because it's a friggin' long time sitting in a place overnight, bored out of your brain when nothing much is happening. And it's sort of fun to have some gadgets that might go off, or, but that in my mind's eye, they're gadgets. They're just sort of some fun things. But,
I certainly got spoiled my first time out going to a Scooby-Doo haunted house kind of thing, going to McIntyre Villa up in Atchison, Kansas, and it was nonstop footsteps and noises and all kinds of stuff in the house. It's like, okay, unless they like ripped up all the floorboards and put in some kind of device that's making footstep sounds all over the house, there's something to this. And I've since been to a couple of other things where the people that regularly inhabit that area say, hey, we've had some strange stuff happen. Can you come take a look at it? I've been part of a team where we've go and look at it, and didn't see a whole lot. It's there were a few curiosities for sure. We found more stuff that this may be the cause of what they're seeing. We were at a place 4 or 5 weeks ago now, where it's an old movie theater that started back in the 20s and 30s, sometime, that time frame. And it still has a lot of the original electrical wiring running throughout the building. And they're super hot spots for any kind of, you go through with your standard gauge meter or whatever you use, and it goes off the scale. because just the EM radiation coming off of just this ancient wiring from 100 years, literally 100 years ago, is leaking out enough stuff to where if you're exposed to that over a long period of time, you will hallucinate. You will experience strange things. Not saying that that's their experience, but there may be a little bit of that comes into play. But it's certainly, yeah, every place is unique, and even like the most famous hot spot in the world, it's sort of like fishing. You don't necessarily catch fish every time you go fishing. You don't, bag a deer every time you go hunting, all that stuff, because you're depending on something else participating in whatever it is that you're doing. And if whatever the conditions are that make them more active or less active is not in swing, you're not going to see anything. So it's there's a lot of randomness to it. If it was a regular thing, then there'd be giant, scientific investigations with tons of money involved, where you would investigate those kind of things. But that's just it. It's random. You can't necessarily just say, okay, it's a full moon and it's high tide and it's my birthday and it's a day that ends in Y, or whatever it is, that there's going to be ghosts or cryptids or UFOs or whatever it is. And when you get there, nothing happens. Well, obviously your theory about whatever it is isn't right. So you got to start over.
I just want to say hey to Kevin, Tuba Chat. Anyone with a new channel or a channel that's, struggling, and if you want to support other channels as well, go to Tuba Chat. Kevin has a great channel where you go in and it's like a little, like it is now, chat, and he'll review everybody's channel. So if you're a member on his channel, he'll also get to you first. So, but he basically reviews your channel, and then everybody that's in the chat or just watching can click on your channel. People who need hours, for example, if there's anybody watching me now that you need hours to get monetized, whatever, Kevin helps with that too, because people will run a playlist for you, for example, to get your hours up. Kevin was a great help to me when my channel started. I've been a bit slack. I haven't been in to visit you, Kevin. I actually thought of it. Is this weird? I thought of him not yesterday, day before. I thought I haven't seen him pop up on my thing. I must pop in and say g'day and buy him a coffee. And then you pop up like this in my chat. Awesome. So there you go. No, so it's like, and Kevin lives in Canada, the 52nd state of America, is it? Or the 51st? No. But there you go. And hello to Cheryl. And Carla, I sent you a message. When you get a chance on Facebook, have a bit of a look. And thank you for sharing it out, Kevin. Thank you so much. Look, it's very hard. All right, I'll tell a few people who may not know. Tanya knows. Tanya knows. A few people know. When I was always interested in paranormal, always, and everybody knows my son died, and that's why I got interested in this, right? But I was watching stuff on the paranormal channels, and I was a member on the haunted side, right? Because I would tune into the haunted side, and I'll give Patrick one thing. He's got personality. He's a salesman. He's a personality. I'm surprised he actually hasn't gotten onto television proper because of how he is. And it was fun to watch. Okay, it was fun to watch the haunted side. And then he got another fellow on with him, Jason. And it was fun to watch the two of them. The haunted side before Jason was also fun to watch. There was another boy that used to do it. So I was invested, as were a lot of people, Crow, Tanya. A lot of people were invested in this channel. And when they would go places, it was fun. Look, it was a fun channel. It really was. Yeah, exactly, Tanya. Really, really, really was. But as it turned out, it came to pass that the evidence he was presenting was fake, and he was doing things for the clicks. And then he'd have Tanya. Do you remember And I fell for it. I gave money. I'm a softie. I'm a sucker. So there was a time, and this is how it came to be, right? So this is just listen. Carla can have a little listen to this and understand a little bit. It might help her going forward. So you invest yourself in the channels. You become connected to the community, and you believe what these people, for whatever reason, are telling you, because why would they lie? Why would they lie? Well, they lie because it makes them money.
Why would they lie?
That's right. Why would they lie? So it would be fun to watch a live stream. So you'd get Jason and Patrick on a live stream, and they'd be making T-shirts and so on. And you get suckered in. You get suckered in. And so at one point there, it was just before I decided to come to America to go to the Virginia City convention, and I got excited because Patrick and Jason were going to be there. Another lady was going to be there that I'd been talking to, Cassie from oh, gone blank, but Cassie. And I thought, oh, this is going to be brilliant. And there was an episode where Patrick was saying that he needed to raise money to go to Waverly Hills Sanatorium, and people were throwing money at him. Well, anyway, long story short, turns out that Patrick was he was getting locations free of charge, so he didn't actually have to pay for them. He'd already more than raised the money for Waverly, and I was a sucker at that time. I just lost my son. I was still struggling. I actually gave him a heavy hit of cash, not just $100, okay? Then all of a sudden he's doing these live streams, spinning wheels, saying, I really need to raise the money. And in my head, I'm thinking, but I just gave you half of what that's worth. Like, why is this?
I feel it's important to point out that a lot of these famous haunted sites, they charge you to go in there for the night. And like for Waverly Hills, approximately how much does it cost?
$1,200. It's probably gone up. $1,200 American dollars. Okay.
To be there all night long, kind of a thing.
No,
$1,200.
You kicked out at oh God, no, you kicked out in look, it might be 6 a.m., but you kicked out because the security that's there overnight. But there you go. Sorry, I've gotten off track. But anyway, yes, it's expensive. Okay. Yeah, thank you. I forgot. I just went blank. So anyway, long story short, in between where I had bought the ticket to go to America to go to the so I'd already paid for the ticket to travel across to America. I'd already traveled everything was paid for. So in between that and arriving in America, shit happened. So Jason was at Waverly Hills, a ball hit him in the head. There was this big thing about it. And then it turned out, but anyway, Patrick was the one who threw the ball and hit him in the head, but claimed it all to be paranormal. So the little world of fakery went boom, 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 and down it went. And it was pretty when I arrived in America and got to the convention. Patrick was there. Did I speak with him? Only briefly for a second. I pulled him aside and said, I'm really sad about what's happened. I wish you could come clean. That's all I said. And he didn't care. He knew who I was. He didn't care. He didn't care. He doesn't care, or he didn't. So, it is what it is. But you can get suckered in to the community, and you can think people care.
It's easy to do, yeah.
It's easy to do.
If you're saying those right things and people are willing to send you a couple of bucks here and there, which adds up over the choice, the live stream, you get.
I can tell you
money.
now,
It's like, hey, I'm going to keep doing this. If people are going to give me money, and to be fair, it does cost money to go to these places and travel plans and flights and all the equipment, all the photographic equipment and gadgetry and all that stuff. It's none of that's free, and you have to pay for that out of your own pocket. So to get a little reimbursement, it's to the point where though you start getting greedy. It's like, okay, all the money. If you're sitting there, it's like, hey, I need money to go do whatever. there's part of me that kind of, it's like, okay, I understand if it's a lot of, like, certainly I am not rich by any means at all. So, and I have like very little as far as a source of income. It's just, I just save my pennies up and then I buy whatever it is I'm wanting to buy.
Exactly. Well, that's what most people do. But but I guess where I was going with it was, hello, Heather. I love you. Don't forget to, Emily, Heather, if you can hear me, Emily wants to come to the Titanic as well, my daughter, Emily. So let me know when you're going to book the tickets and I'll get you to get another one. Sorry, that's an aside. But my point is, for people like Carla who are new to the community, I would say, yes, the shape is definitely always going to be supportive. He hasn't failed me yet, and it's been years and he's done nothing bad. Right? He doesn't ask for money. He did once, and that was because he went through a horrible time. Something bad happened, and he was really embarrassed by asking. But that's an aside. That was something. He doesn't get on and go, give me money, give me money, give me money. So nobody does. Just like Carla doesn't. I've got a channel. I don't say, join, be a member, and I promise you this. I promise nothing. But for those who do enjoy what I do and are happy to spare a couple of bucks, I don't even know what my membership is. I haven't looked. I think it's $3 maybe. But anyone who's happy to help me out and do that, I absolutely appreciate it, but I don't expect it. I do this because I enjoy doing it. Of late, I haven't enjoyed doing it. But my point is, careful who you're friends with. So careful who you, what's the word? Align yourself with. Just protect yourself. So when it comes to the world of the paranormal, look at what their channel is. Look at what they're trying to do or what they're claiming. And if you find that they're continually asking for money for new equipment, location costs, just careful, because I don't ask for that shit. I've traveled. Did I get on my channel and go, oh, everybody, I really, really want to go to America. Could you please, I'm going to have a live stream for 24 hours and stay up all night. Would you please, please, please pay for my airfare? Do I do that? No. But how embarrassing. Like, no, if I can't afford to do it, I can't afford to do it. Do you know what I mean? I just... So just careful who you align yourself with. Heather knows exactly what I'm talking about too. Great channel, by the way, people. Come hither with Heather. Oh, I love it. It's just careful, so you'll have people that'll, what's the word, brown nose and say, oh, we love you. And then take. And that's talking from experience, and that's a private conversation I'll have one day. But people are happy to take stuff from you because you're a patsy, like you're a freaking idiot. Not a patsy, a sucker, like you're a sucker. Like for me, it was, she's grieving. She's got some money to spend. She is nice. And, yeah, we could really use that money for those locations. So, shit, yeah, let's be really nice to her and suck. All right, my bad. I fell for it, my bad. No one else to blame. I was in a position where I fell for it all. I thought they were my friends, all right? But at the end of the day, no, they weren't. No, they're not. And lesson learned. So my lesson is, remember not to give money to people that are asking for money to pay for equipment and airfares. If you want to be a member on their channel, that's okay, because it's only, a couple of bucks, if that's what you want to do, but never, ever give lump sums like dickhead did. All right, dickhead. Dickhead. For me, I don't have many memberships anymore. What I do is the channels that I love to watch, like Nerd Report, Carla, or whatever, Heather, I'll just, when I've got some spare money, I'll send them $20 or whatever. Because I figure, I've got spare money this week. I'll do that. That way, that's just how I do it. And it's better. I think it's worth, I don't know what's worth more, memberships or the odd, I don't know. I don't know what's worth more. Membership's probably better for the creator because it's a constant. But then again, YouTube takes a cut anyway. So what are you going to do? But all I'm saying anyway, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but just careful who you think your friends are. Don't give them money. Just don't. But that's what happened. So when I found out that the haunted side was all fake, I was devastated. And I thought, shit, what an idiot. But it's easy, no matter how smart you think you are or how smart you are, if someone's appealing to an emotional reason as to why you're watching their content, you can get suckered in. It's just how it is. I've hardened up a bit now. So I'm harder. So I don't do it anymore. But, but like I say, if there's someone I care about, I'll help them out, but it's got naught to do with anything other than I consider them a friend and I want to help them out. If someone's struggling financially and I know, and if I've got a bit of spare cash, I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but rather than spend my spare cash on, say, maybe going to get my hair done or whatever, I'll think, I'll cheer them up and I'll chuck a bit of money their way and they can go and buy themselves something pretty. Do you know what I mean? Or help them out.
Sure.
Yeah. But yes, Kibba. And that's the thing. I was, up until that point, I was also, but the sad thing is certain people knew that was happening way before we all found out, which is also sad. That other people knew it was happening but didn't speak up. And again, why do they not do that? So look, if you're faking just to fake but you're not making money from it, whatever, that's your choice. But if you're faking in order to make money and sucker people in, that's really, it was a channel called The Haunted Side, Heather. And look, they're not the only ones. I mean, look at all the other there's some Australian people that everybody loves, and I think they're the same. They just like to make money. I'm not going to say anything because it's a shit show, and I'm not going to care. That's why I'm not in the community anymore, because I'm fully aware of certain groups that people think are wonderful, but I happen to know they're not so wonderful. So stuff them all, Hey, Laura, I did say hello to you because you were first in, I think, or was it Tanya that was first in? The two of you were first anyway.
I feel like the saddest part about things like this that happen in any community is when you find out someone's faking stuff or whatever, and they get called out for it and it's proven true, is that actually drives a lot of people completely away from the entire topic. Like, they're like, all the ghost stuff is crap. All the UFO stuff is crap. All the cryptid stuff is crap. And that's obviously they had an interest in that for their own reasons. That's why they were watching whatever that show is. And they get so repulsed by someone that they trusted, someone that's kind of suckered them in. And then you find out that they've been faking stuff, that they throw all of it away. That all of it must now be fake. All of it is crap. And that's awful. I feel that you're going to throw away even your own experiences is, well, I obviously just imagined that if these people are out doing these things and they're just faking it and I bought all of it. It's that kind of shame you feel. It's like, damn it, I got suckered into all of this stuff, and you feel bad to where you just push all of it away. Now, something that you believed in, you don't believe any of it because one person suckered you in.
Well, that's what happens. And Heather, and I think it was a Pomp who said name them. No, I'm not getting pulled into the shit again. I don't need to get pulled into all the shit again. All I'll say is, so far as Australian paranormal investigators are concerned, there's two ladies I follow who don't fake anything. They're fun to watch, and that's Anne and Renata, the ghost grannies. And of course, come hither with Heather because she doesn't fake nothing. So all I'll say is, so far as any other Australian paranormal, right up there, money-making people, do I really need to name them? Just take a guess. Just, I don't. Yeah, and Heather's fully aware too of some of them. So it's just, I don't need to do that. They're not taking your money per se. At least I don't think they've got a channel that they get onto and do live streams and ask for money. I just don't think they spin wheels and things like that. There's a couple that, you know, I'm not getting, no, that's why I got out of the paranormal community, because it's really nasty. It's very nasty. The debunking community, although, for example, Beardo, I think he's gorgeous. He's lovely. He's a lovely human being. His wife is a lovely human being, but the content can get stressful, so I don't watch it. But Beardo, I think he's a very nice man. He took the time out to come and spend some hours with me and have lunch and drive me. He's a lovely man, okay? But his content is no longer for me. I can't watch the side-eye guy. I can't watch any of it, because at the end of the day, it's not, I don't like it. It's stressful. You know, who else don't? I only watch Shape. That's it. The Shape I'll watch, because when he does a debunk, he's not horrible. He's not, you know, at least at least then, you know, it's what is it? Yeah, I think, you know, I don't know. I think for people watching paranormal, content, if someone goes to a location, again, like if you watch anything that I've put up, I've said, I've gone here, this is the history, here's what happened. What, like, do I claim it to be paranormal? No, but I'll play it for you because that's what I got, or that's what I caught. But I don't know, it could have been anything. It just odd, whatever. I'll play it for you just to let you know. But I don't claim it to be paranormal, because I'm not convinced anything I've seen yet is strange. Yes, but could it have been something else? Yes, and because it could have been something else, for me, it's just interesting. So, but for the people that claim for things to be paranormal, just take it with a grain of salt. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but don't give them money. So if you get people doing a live stream and crying about how they can't afford to fly here or fly there, or they can't afford a new piece of equipment, you know, oh, well, bad luck. I can't afford shit either. So bad luck. Just if you're a member on their channel, that's more than enough. If you really like them, that should be more than enough for them to say thank you, and thank you for enjoying my content, and thank you for being a member, and that's the end of it. But yeah, if I got on here tomorrow and said, oh, guys, I really want to go to Virginia City, but I can't afford the airfare, help, I would hope that you would unsubscribe from my channel. Because I really would, because that would be really, really, just really rude. You know, how long have you got to spare? For you, Heather, always. Oh dear. Oh, thank you, Jethro. See, I've got, so that's what I mean. But if I ever got up here saying, ooh, hey, bad luck, I'm not going to Virginia City, I don't have enough money, and it's, you know, you guys don't have enough money to be giving me money. Does that make sense? Like, even the fact that you're a member, that's still $3 or something a month that could,
nobody has a lot of money right now. So.
No one does. So you know, I wouldn't, you know. Yeah, oh yeah, people know what they're doing. You know, so yeah, just, I don't know. I've gone off in a few different directions, but just sort of saying that I too was a sucker. I got suckered in big time. And there's other people watching right now that you too may have lost someone you love. Whatever your reasons for watching the paranormal are, they're probably in some way, either maybe there's something wrong with you physically that you might think, oh, I could die. Like, I have had people who have passed away that were really great supporters, and I miss seeing them pop up in the chat. And you might be watching the paranormal because you want to know that when you die, there's somewhere we go to. Most of us, I think, though, have lost someone we love. And we think, can they still hear us? Are they still around? And that is what draws us in some way to the paranormal videos, because we see people that we like, they've got personality, whatever, they go into a haunted place and they hear a voice or they tell a story and you think, oh my God, you know, and that's where I got suckered in. And I was suckered in. I was grieving. I wanted to know that I could talk to my son again or see him again. I wanted to know that so badly, and I fell for the haunted side and believed everything and gave more money than I should have, because I really wanted them to go to these places and investigate and find something that would prove to me that I will be able to talk to Stephen again. I will see him again. I was not well, okay, I was grieving, and anyone going through severe grief, you're not thinking straight, and you will throw money because that's helping you with whatever. So I learned the hard way. If I had a time machine and went back, would I have done it differently? No, because I still would have been grieving. I wouldn't have known any better. But and I gave money, you know, it was because I wanted to know. So I think that's why people watch the paranormal, because they're looking to know that maybe someone they love and lost, it can still see, and they're just looking for someone to finally prove that they can see us from the other side or communicate. So watch it for those reasons, but just don't get suckered in, because how many years have people been doing this and still no proof? The only proof is any faith that you have, any strange things that happen to you. I would take that more so as a sign that maybe they are there, not someone walking into a haunted location and saying, oh, I saw a shadow person. Oh, the door shut. Oh, there was a breeze. Oh. It's not proof of anything. It's just not. It's fun, it's interesting, but it's not proof. To this day, no one has proven the paranormal to be true, because if they had of, it'd be a big thing. So just take it, just don't get suckered in. Watch it for entertainment purposes, because it is entertaining. It is. But don't, just because it's someone that you like and a personality that you like, if they're making a lot of money, they're making a lot of money somehow, and they're not, you know, that sort of thing can get to your head after a while. I think sometimes you get people that their channels are, you know, they want their channel to be big. They want to be like Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters. They want to be that famous. They want to have that much money, and their downfall will come, as did Patrick's downfall. Now, you know, as I say, if they had played it a different way and been more honest, they probably still have a big following and probably still be making money, but at least being honest about it, because that stupid bastard had a really good personality. It's stupid. He really did. It was him that people watched for. He was a very magnetic personality, and kind of still is. He's still around people. And it's just a shame, because he could have still been out there making people laugh. He just got greedy, you know, and it's sad. But there we go. But there you go. Oh, yeah, everybody was in it, Dee. Everybody. Anyway, that's the end of my rant. Just watch your back. Careful who you support and money-wise. Watch whatever you like and just take it as is. Isn't, you know, don't, just because someone you trust says they caught something, that's interesting, but again, it's not proof. It's not proof. I don't know what proof would be. It'd have to probably be a message from somebody from the other side that was clear, a voice. I don't know. Who knows? But, you know what's real. And some people watching have seen things themselves in their own life that they haven't had a camera for, or some strange thing has happened, and then the very next day something happens. Like, we all have these odd things happen. That's paranormal. That is paranormal, things that you can't understand that have happened. Like, you know, there's even simple things, like where you think of somebody, just that simple thing where you're thinking of somebody, oh, I wonder how they are. And then the next day, all of a sudden, you get a phone call from that person. That's weird. Like, that's paranormal. Like, what the fuck? Haven't heard from it. I was only thinking of you yesterday, and boom, and today you call me. Like, that's paranormal. That's the essence of paranormal. Things that are weird and happen and you just can't explain them. So just watch it and don't get suckered in. I think I've made myself clear. Just and if you think someone's faked it, call the bastards out. If they're claiming it to be true, oh, look what happened. This is really so true and I can't explain it. And this went off and that went off. Yeah, good-o. But if you think that somehow they've faked that and it could be something else and they're claiming it to be paranormal, call them out. Say, yeah, but how? But in a nice way. You don't have to be nasty. You can just go, hey, I know you said such and such, but what else was happening? What's the situation with vermin in the house? What's the situation? What was the weather like outside? Was it gusty? Was it windy? Were you near a train station? Was someone using a CB radio? So all I'm saying is you can still call someone out and say, hey, but this doesn't sound right. What about? And if they get really defensive and upset that you're asking those questions, then I would call that into question because you shouldn't get upset. If you're not faking, if you believe it to be real, then you can come back at that person who's pointing it out and say, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but no, at the time there was no wind. We were right out in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, no, I don't think there was CB radios. Like you can have a conversation, a back and forth, That's what I think. Anyway, but I don't know. Yeah, I know it does happen a lot, doesn't it? Earlier I don't think he's still here, but earlier Tuber Chat, Kevin from Tuber Chat popped in, and I, honest to goodness, it was yesterday on my computer and thought I must look him up again and pop back in, and boom, there he was in my chat today. So there you go. It's weird. Comments get deleted if you question anything. Yeah. That's interesting.
When you just
too.
walk away. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah. If you are watching someone and your comment gets deleted because you're questioning something, then there's your answer. Because there's your answer. Again, it can be the wording. I have had no, I haven't personally, because I guess I don't claim. I just say, hey, this happened. What do you reckon? I don't think I've had, but I certainly have seen it in others where people can be really nasty and say things, oh, you just faked that, you're full of shit, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I would delete something like that too. But if somebody is saying, oh, hey, but could it have been such and such, or are you sure it wasn't so-and-so? If they're deleting honest questions about that, then, yeah, don't unsubscribe, don't watch them anymore. That's what I would do. Anyway, while people are here, I just wanted to, I wanted to have a bit of a rant. I do want to have a rant now, Tanya, watch out, about the Blue Origin, is that how you say it? Blue Origin?
Blue Origin,
the giant phallic symbol that went into almost space. Was it last week?
Yeah,
hey, Jonathan.
A few days ago.
Yeah. So I was saying hey, Jonathan, I'll watch you drive to work later. I was watching it and I thought, oh, look, I'll watch this and see how the ladies go. What are they up to? What's going on? How, and as a woman, and not all the ladies have to agree with me, I suppose, but as a woman, I reckon they set the women back about 50 years with their carry on in that thing. Oh, it's the mean. It's the kindness. Oh, I'm like, what the F drugs were those? Was there actually maybe something like I was
lack of oxygen?
I don't know what it was, but I was watching it, and hi Jethro, and I thought to myself, what are they doing? And then they came back down to earth, and I thought, well, okay, they're going to get out and make a bit of fun of it and just sort of say, hey, it was a really great fun. We had great fun and it was a great ride. Yay. But, oh, no. Katy Perry with the love and the death and you realise how close you are and how far you are and kissing the earth. And I'm like, embarrassing. And then while she's in space, all she's doing is holding up that. Did anyone see it? The little butterfly she was holding up. It had all of her her set list for her upcoming concert. That's what the butterfly was. Then she's holding the flower up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, look. And then Gail King. Oh, so men go up and they don't get told they're going on a ride. Men and women, Missy, Gail, men and women have gone up into space and have trained for years to do what they do. They're actually in charge of certain controls on the vehicle that is taking them up into space, not just the upper atmosphere, space. All right, space. And they've trained for years, and when they've gone into space, they've got the controls, and then you've got the other people that go to the space station and get stranded for 9 months. You've got all these people. They're astronauts. They have earned the right to be called an astronaut. Okay, they've earned that. They've trained for years and whatever. They didn't just do a couple of days learning how to get into the capsule and get out of the capsule, how to strap into their seat, how to undo the strap. That's not training. Okay, that's safety, as in this is how you do up your buckle, and this is the door
very little safety involved with this entire adventure. I was very distressed watching the whole thing.
Oh, it was mental. It was like, and that was the other thing. They had their lovely Star Trek. I called it Star Trek gear. It was like watching an episode of Deep Space Nine when the girls walk around. They were in the it was a show. It was six women, wasn't it? 6 women.
Yes.
2 of which did have had training from NASA. One is a rocket scientist, and the other lady was in the engineer, and one was in the NASA program. She and kudos to her. She did have some horrible things happen to her, which made her leave the program. So there's 2 ladies on board out of the 6 that had some idea of what it was all about. But again, on this particular trip, they didn't do anything. They looked out a window and took in the atmosphere and the inspiration. And I'm like, well, and you didn't even go into space, like technically. And you didn't do, the other 4, Katy Perry, like fair income. It was just embarrassing to watch. They didn't have any safety gear on. If anything had have happened coming back in, well, dead. I'm amazed even when it hit the ground that given that they didn't have, I don't know, the suspension, Enzo might know more about this, but I'm assuming the suspension in the little knob of the phallic symbol, I'm assuming the knob had some kind of really good suspension, because that thing hit hard, and yet those ladies got out.
That's the thing is the actual capsule that you saw come down and hit the desert. It was basically just a shell. It was an overgrown, sealed carnival ride, really, at that point. And really, the entire thing. This is like a rich person's carnival ride from the time they launch to the time that they land. The entire, from launch to landing is about 11 minutes. And when they get above the Kármán line, which is a arbitrary line that they've set up as 100 kilometers.
They didn't go above it, Enzo. That's just it. They got to it.
I understand. It's like, but that's their target, is to reach that 100 kilometer line. That's not low Earth orbit. That's not any kind of orbit. It's just this arbitrary line that the aviation and space industry has decided, okay, this is our dividing line, 100 kilometers above the surf, above sea level. That's the difference between upper atmosphere and space. There's still atmosphere well above 100 kilometers. The space shuttle or the International Space Station and all that, they still encounter atmospheric effects at hundreds of kilometers out where they are in low Earth orbit. It's just that's their dividing line is 100 kilometers, called the Kármán line, which the craft goes up. It separate. There's a physical separation of, the like capsule that they're actually sitting in separates away from the solid rocket booster, which lands itself, which, to be fair, went off flawlessly and was very good demonstration of the technology. We've kind of seen it many times before with a lot of Elon's stuff, but it's a different style and it obviously works very well. And then the capsule through inertia just keeps going up. I'm actually super amazing, but thank you very much. But it's as it goes up, it hits that 100-kilometer line barely, and then it starts coming back down. It's when it starts falling back down to Earth, that's when they start experiencing the zero-G type effects. You would have the same effect if you were on an aircraft doing what they call a parabola, where it flies straight up and then it goes straight down. That's what NASA astronauts do all their zero-G training, which only lasts a few seconds because you got to pull the plane back up, kind of a thing. It's called the vomit comet because a lot of people get motion sickness from it when you go into zero-G the first time. But and even then, I think it was a total of like 4 minutes of them falling. Like if you were in an elevator, like if you went up into like a very tall skyscraper and whatever safety mechanisms all failed in an elevator that you're in, and it's just dropping straight down to the ground, you're in free fall. You will experience that zero-G effect while you're hurtling to your death until you get to the bottom. Then the ride's over. But it's not that different from what the ladies a few days ago experienced. Don't get me wrong. If I was a super rich person or a celebrity and I could get a ride on it, I would probably go because it sounds like a lot of fun.
At least say that's what it is. Don't try and pretend you're freaking doing something to help mankind. They were
it's for
six rich, privileged, wouldn't know what the real world was like anymore. Like it was embarrassing. It was really embarrassing. Send some actual mums up or something. Some actual mums that can impress their teenage kids or something. Like put like a raffle. Like have a raffle and people can buy a ticket.
The teenage kids would say it was all AI and you faked it.
Or send up someone who's terminal. Send up a child who's terminal and give that child, like do something frigging good. Not send up these 6 rich bitches. Like, can you tell? I'm hungry.
This particular thing without going through years of technical training and having a reason to go up with NASA or whatever. This is the next best thing. This is space tourism. That's what all this is. There's no controls inside of the capsule. There's nobody flying it. It's all being done from the ground. Probably a bunch of nerd guys are actually running the computers and everything else to deal all with that. Plus, like I said, it's only 11 minutes. There's not a whole lot of, once it gets up and it separates, it's out of everybody's hands. It does what it's going to do because they've engineered it to be as aerodynamic as possible to where it's just going to fall because it goes straight up and then straight down, which if you look at the shape of the rocket, that's to be expected. To go straight up and straight down, and
up, down,
straight up,
down,
and straight down, straight up,
and down.
straight down,
straight down.
Sometimes getting faster towards the end, and then it just falls over,
and then it blows its top.
That's right.
I had someone said earlier. I had the question too about how did it land, and I asked my friend Grok for the answer because I thought I did hear someone talking on one of the things I was watching yesterday about a gas that's emitted when it comes down. So there's when the knob, I like to call it the knob of the capsule, starts to come down with the parachutes and everything. As it's about to hit, there is a gas. It says the capsule deploys the parachutes, but just before touchdown, a retro thrust system using pressurized nitrogen gas fires to further cushion the landing. So there was a nitrogen gas gets fired, and that's what and that's apart from. I don't think I saw someone else. I think it was Tom. Someone said that they think it's fake. I don't think it was fake. I think they really went up.
No, I don't think it's fake either.
No, no. I think that really went up. They really went up. They did it. But yeah.
There's been many comments since we've been chatting here about the whole thing, and some of them I agree with, and some are, like, I feel the fake part of it is how safe this capsule actually is, because of course, they had their blooper where people on the inside open the little door beforehand, before Lex Luthor or Jeff Bezos could come up with a wrench to open the door, which is ridiculous. How if he hadn't come up with the wrench, would they be stuck inside? Obviously, there's a way they can open the door from the inside in case.
Oh, there has to be, yeah. And that would, and as if anybody watched Enzo and I talking a couple of weeks ago about the Apollo stuff, the reason that there would be a way to open the door from the inside is because men lost their lives in a capsule and burnt to death because they couldn't get out the fucking thing. All right. There was something wrong with the inside of the capsule. So investigations into their death led to those safety measures. And so from now on, when any rocket gets made, those safety measures have to be put in. There has to be a way to get out other than someone coming with a wrench and opening it from the outside. There was arguments that the reason that it had to be opened from the outside were to release the pressurize the cabin. I'm thinking, it wouldn't really matter inside, outside, where you open the door from. I don't know.
If you look closely at that little blooper part, or even later when Jeff Bezos pretends to plug the thing in and open it, that's totally fake. And if you look at the door itself, it's stupidly thin. There's not much holding this whole thing together, in my opinion, engineering wise. Don't get me wrong. It's designed to contain, the people, hold atmosphere for 11 minutes as it streaks up into the atmosphere and then falls back down. I kind of view this thing as the space version of the, what was that thing? That submarine that all the millionaires died on earlier this past year, that were going down looking at the Titanic, where it just crushed in on itself. This is not that far removed from that similar type design. It's engineered just enough to do an 11-minute flight, and that's kind of it. I don't know if they reuse. Now, I don't know how many Blue Origin flights have gone on. I wouldn't imagine they reuse the same capsule over and over again. Maybe 2 flights. I probably wouldn't trust it past that for just the stresses involved with it going up and coming down and then that hard landing at the end, which I've seen people complain about that. There's like, well, NASA always lands their stuff in the ocean because it's easy. Well, that's true, because the United States has oceans on both sides, and it's got a lot, the Gulf of America to land in and things like that. So whereas the the Russian space program has always landed out in the middle of the desert. It's way up in Siberia, where their survival kit does include a gun to chase away bears that may happen upon their capsule when they land before the rescue people can get there. But that's not not a big thing. That's not really a good argument, I feel, as far as it being fake.
Yeah, Tom, I watched it a few times. I get quite. Trust me, I was looking for any sign that it could be fake. I couldn't find it. I'm pretty sure they really went up, and they really came down. The only thing that struck me as odd was the landing of the knob in the Texas desert, and I kind of thought, the only thing I thought was that, even with the retro rockets and all that sort of thing, even with that was really a bang. That was like, ouch. So I want to know, inquiring minds want to know how the suspension in that is made in order to take, like, inside are the seats that they're strapped to when they come down. Like, those women didn't have helmets on, so if anything had gone wrong and one of them wasn't strapped in properly or something, they wouldn't be here. They would have gone bang and hit their head. They'd be dead. So I want to know why they weren't with the helmet, and what suspension was within the seats to also give them be the ability for all of that impact not to be taken on by their body, and that hasn't been answered yet. I'm sure Grok, I could ask Grok.
I can sort of answer it for you if you like, and I've got actually a thing if you want to pull it up where we can talk a little bit about it, because there were certainly some people that said that they saw fake mannequins and all that stuff in this one, but that's from like a 2016 flight or something like that. But hey, there's the ladies. But there's a video somewhere in here. Yeah, here we go. We'll just
I just can't play. Yeah, I can't play the sound. I can't play. I'll get
right. But basically, if you look at the rate it's falling and all that, this is about the same amount of G's, because those were 3 huge parachutes that are suspending this thing, like if you jumped out of like a 2nd-story window. Everybody's sitting in a slightly reclined type chair, and they're not wearing helmets or have any kind of oxygen mask or anything else on. That's another one of my safety things. It's like, how easy is this ride that they're going on, where they can do something like this, at the end, and they're not too concerned about people getting whatever, injured or anything like that. So it's there's I don't see anything fake about it, other than just the embarrassment of I watched it live when it was going off. This was last Monday when they flew, and because you can see in the picture that imagery that is playing over again, the dust flies out before it actually contacts the ground, which, even if there were no jets that kind of do it, which I don't even know if it has that. If it is, they're not that effective, I don't think.
Well, it does say it's like retro.
I get it. But even just the compression of the air underneath of it, even if it didn't have that, you would see dust and stuff flying out before it actually hit, because it's still falling at a fairly good rate. So for what they have in there, the semi-reclined couches and all that should be fine with 3 giant parachutes. That's not much, again, not much different from what the Russians have always used. They don't have an ocean that they have ever splashed down in. It's always been a landing kind of a thing for them. So that's that unusual to see. But
Tom, I'd say what's happening there. I mean, you see it hit, right? You see it hit and shift. The rockets that deploy just before it hits would be causing it to move like that, because it's like, and the air in it would just sort of slide. So that's why it would slide. Plus, it probably slide a bit anyway.
It has some lateral movement with it.
Yeah, it would still have
carry that inertia.
Yeah.
It's, but yeah,
that'll be they'll start suing next. Oh, I got whiplash. Oh, but then again, they don't need to sue because they're billionaires. They wouldn't, friggin' hell. I've got, yeah.
I was looking up a little bit to take this ride. If one of you wants to take this ride, they're very tight-lipped on. They're very tight-lipped on what the actual amount is. But if just to register to go through the training, to go up on one of these requires it requires a deposit of $150,000. Typically, whenever you pay a depositor, it would require, that's like a 10% kind of a thing. So you can easily add a 0 onto the end of that for probably the full ride. I saw
him talking about that very thing yesterday on another channel I watch. And the first person, when they first were starting to take bookings for this to go up into space, the price was $28 million a seat. Whether or not that's gone down, but $28 million. Okay, that's how much it would cost you to get on. So it's, obviously we're never getting on one. Unless Bezos does something, and but yeah.
I think the most science involved with this whole flight is whatever hairspray they're using in this shot, where they're floating around in 0G. Is because we've seen pictures of other female astronauts that have longer hair, and it's just this straight hair bear bunch looking straight out kind of
Yeah,
mess.
but their hair is defying gravity.
Yeah.
Like it actually is. They must have full of freaking hairspray, because you look, it's not even floating straight up like that lady, like the one that was rescued. Yeah, but look, I just think I tried to, because they're going on about, oh, we should be called astronauts. No, you shouldn't. You haven't met the criteria to be called an astronaut. But they were saying we did scientific this and scientific that. I made a short. I honestly went in. I tried to look for what they had. I thought, no, let's see. You know, maybe it's fake news and everyone's trying to belittle the women, and really they really did do something or do something. No, unfortunately, out of the 6 of them, one of them was testing the effects of gravity. Now, get this is real. The effects of the zero gravity on the effectiveness of tampons in menstruating astronauts. Oh, that was an actual
obviously
real thing.
It worked well, because the capsule
Nothing
when they were in
happened.
zero G didn't look like a crime scene or anything like that. So I guess it's okay.
And that same astronaut had some kind of I don't know if it was the flower that Katy Perry was holding, but there was the same astronaut that was testing the effectiveness of the tampons was also doing some kind of flower experiment, like the effects of zero gravity on something. The other minutes. One, yeah, and the other one that was the rocket scientist or engineer, she had something apparently under her seat. She had little boxes of something or other under her seat. What those experiments were, we don't know. But were they actually, 6 women, any of them actually doing anything scientific whilst on that journey, apart from the one that was obviously menstruating, so therefore testing the effectiveness of the tampon? The other 5, no. Gail was there to get a feel for the inspiration and inspire other young women to become astronauts. All of them, it was an inspirational thing. Katy Perry, well, she was there to promote her concert. And one of the other ladies had a wristwatch on that was a very expensive wristwatch, which was mentioned a lot in afterwards. So that was that. Then not to mention the wonderful Kardashians that met them once it landed, who gifted a very expensive purse to Bezos's girlfriend. And that, of course, was a promo thing, because the purse.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was a big promotional ride. I don't think it was faked. I really do think they went up. I'm not taking that. Are they astronauts? They don't deserve to be called astronauts.
No.
When you look at the history,
them being called astronauts would be like every time you flew to the United States, when you got off the plane, you were like, I was the pilot.
Exactly.
Like, no, you weren't.
No, you weren't. You didn't. They if they in some way had been trained to control the descent, like maybe there were switches or something, but that would have taken them more than a little few days of training to learn. You know, that's a big thing. And I was saying to Enzo, when I was putting my little short together, I actually deleted a few things because I didn't want anyone to think I was in any way, shape or form comparing them to trained animals. But historically speaking, the men and women who went up into space in the 50s and 60s, be they from Russia, China, America, Australia, well, yes, we've had some Australian astronauts, they all went through rigorous training. They took their lives in their own hands, especially in the 60s, because it was very much, it still is a touch and go if you really go out into space. Like, just look, just last year, those 2 astronauts stranded, right? Thank God for Elon Musk. So all these people earned the right to be called astronauts because they went into space, they did the training, they took the risks, they took their life in their own hands. Now, also taking their lives into their own hands and was a little monkey, a chimpanzee. His name was Ham, and he flew 3 orbits, I believe, around the planet. And they taught him how to use different levers on the capsule, and he thankfully came home safe and sound. And his name was Ham. Look him up. Also, of course, I mentioned Paul Leica the other week, Leica the dog. Unfortunately, Paul Leica did not come back to Earth alive. She died on intake. But she was still trained to sit nicely. She was a cosmonaut because she was Russian. Ham was an astronaut. He was American. So they earn the right to be called astronauts before these women who just went up and came down. And I'm sorry. Yes,
it's Ham right there.
Oh, there's Ham. Isn't he cute? And he lived, I did do the research. He did live out his life. They didn't kill him and open him up or anything to see what happened to him. Thank God. But yeah, so that's little Ham. So even Ham, in my mind's eye, is an astronaut because he trained, he learned how to do the levers, and he came back in and he's alive and he was clever and he did some training. These girls literally, if anyone wants to look it up, Megyn Kelly did a little show on it, and she was talking about, she actually got the list of things that the girls trained to do. Guess what they trained to do? They trained to get in the capsule, they trained to get out of the capsule, and they trained on how to buckle up whilst in the capsule and ring that bell. Ding, 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 ding. That was their training, right, people. That was it.
Well,
and
they apparently failed in the training on opening the door when they landed.
And then you have bloody Katy Perry. Oh, I read the string theory. Oh, you did not read the book.
Isn't that cute?
Oh my God. I'm like, you stupid. Like, honestly. So what I'm saying is, as a woman, quite frankly, I'm embarrassed, and men watching and young girls watching, don't use these women as your role model. There's nothing to model your life on looking at these 6 women. Nothing. All right. They're privileged, rich, up themselves women. If you want to model yourself and look to going into space or look at the actual astronauts, that women and men, right? There's lots of women, and there's some women who lost their lives. Like there were the astronauts that went up in the Columbia, I think it was called. I'm running off memory now. We had the Challenger, of course, that exploded, and the teacher died and the crew died. But there was also the Columbia. I think it was called the Columbia. And 2 women astronauts lost their lives in that. Like, if you want to be inspired to do something fantastic, these women, all they inspire is plastic surgery, boob jobs, and honestly, it's just they're not. That's not inspirational. All right, this is just
10% more plastic involved in this flight into space than others.
Well, I did say to Enzo, they had the perfect opportunity. Actually, I don't know all of them. They don't all look like they've had. And as I said to Enzo, I do not begrudge plastic surgery. If you can afford it and you want to look good, go for it. All good. It's just because I guess my dislike for these women is not just about that. If they want to look, if that's what they want to do to themselves, they can do that. I don't begrudge that. That's just being nasty, I suppose. But they did have an opportunity whilst up there, especially Bezos's girlfriend. I don't know about Katy Perry. I think she may well be natural. But Bezos's girlfriend could have done an experiment on the effects of zero gravity on fake boobs, Botox face, although I don't think Botox, but certainly fillers, the fillers you get into the face. I mean, it would have been interesting to see how those things react in zero gravity. Do they explode? Do they float? Do they shrink? Does the filler in your face move? Like, I don't know. She had a perfect opportunity to see if there were any. Obviously, she's landed though, and everything looks like it's in its place. So.
I find myself thinking about that. It's like, okay, fake silicone boobs. If there was like a rapid decompression, if one of these windows blew out or something like that,
well,
would that affect then?
I think it would. You know, look, and as I say, I don't care. Like, I mean, if I had the money, I'd go next week and get a facelift. I don't care about that. What I'm saying is, I guess I'm in a nutshell saying that these 6 women, all of them with money, all entrepreneurs. I mean, Gail King is friggin' Oprah's bestie. Like, they've all got money that none of them know if they ever did struggle in life, they've forgotten it because their money, their fame, and everything else, they've forgotten. Okay. And there are many people that were watching that. As a female, I was embarrassed for them. Like, look at them, freaking Looney Tunes. Like, look at them. Like, taking up space. They were taking up space.
I know if I had paid millions of dollars to go on this, and I just had 5 screaming women in my face while I'm trying to absorb all the 4 minutes that you've got in 0G, and even of that 4 minutes, that's even because you have to like get strapped back in for the return part, like a minute and a half of it. So really, you only got like less than 3 minutes.
Well, I think I think it was just under 3 minutes in total in zero but as it was explained, it wasn't zero gravity. It wasn't. They weren't.
It's free fall, which is sort of like.
Yeah, but it's the same as if you go up, like Tom Cruise did it to practice for his movie. He took the plane up to a certain, and that's how they practiced. I think Apollo.
That's that parabola I was talking about in the vomit comet.
Yeah. So that's what they're doing. They're not actually in space where it's zero gravity. It's a technicality, but it's actually, this is, while that's happening, is because they're now coming back down. So they're free falling to Earth. And I would assume at some point they're going to be told, get back in your seats and buckle up, because if they were like that when they hit the planet, they'd be dead. And look at them, like no legs, no nothing. You know, no nothing. So if they had my whole thing is, personally, they went up, they had fun, whatever. The reason I think the world is making fun of them is because when they came back down and got out of that thing, they all spouted this and that and love and earth and we're powerless women, and I'm like, fuck off. You were up there for 4 minutes. Like, just get
to be fair, anyone who's any actual astronaut or people that have gone on this Blue Origin ride before have all come back a little changed, because your perspective is totally different for that 3 or 4 minutes that you're able to look out those giant windows and see the blackness of space and the bright blueness of Earth.
I get that, Enzo. I get that, but what I'm saying is they made much more of it than it needed. Okay, right? Like they're saying we inspired women and we this and we that. No, you fucking didn't.
That part is bollocks. But individually, all of these people, when they weren't mugging for the camera or senselessly just screaming, that actually disturbed me the most about the entire thing. Is anytime there was like a separation, is hearing the live audio of them just screaming. It's like, what's going on? Was there a rapid decompression? Are they all going to die? No, they're just screaming. Lunatic. I don't get it.
I did say to Enzo, because I watched, of course, I love William Shatner, Captain Kirk. All right. I watched when he went up with a few others. And I watched when he came down, and I watched him when he got out. Now, bless his cotton socks. How old was he when he did that? 89 or something? Like an old.
He was well in his 80s.
Right. He got off and he went, oh my God. Like,
he was actually going through an actual existential. He was going through an actual existential crisis when he landed and stepped outside. And of course, he was the big celebrity on that flight. So Jeff Bezos and all the cameras were all on him, and he's just trying to noodle through what he had just experienced. Where, as he would go on later to say, where he would look up and just see the blackness of space, which was death in his eyes. That's how he viewed it. Is if I were to be outside of this, I would be dead. None of the people
Well,
on the
would they?
planet, you would all be dead. And then, and he would look down and see the earth, and it was just teeming with life. So it was a death and life thing that he was going through when he landed. And for a day or so afterwards, he was just like, I cannot believe what I just experienced. And
Yeah.
that
But
every one of these women on this flight,
yeah, you're being nice, Enzo. I don't like it. You're making excuses for these women. I don't like
I'm just
it.
saying, well, actually, someone else said it, Julie. So they did not appreciate it at all. It was her comment, and I agree. Is every one of these women should have gone through this near existential, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Go to my next concert and look, here's my playlist. You know, that should have been, they should have forgotten all of that. Just going through this experience just to see the earth in perspective where there's no borders, there's no lines separating all the different countries and all that stuff.
Look, a couple of them did say that. A couple of the women did say they were looking down and realised whatever, but it was the way they said it. And but the point I was making is Shatner, I would expect that kind of response from, because for years he's Captain Kirk. For years he was the final frontier. For him, it would have been like a surreal thing because of a character he's played for years, embedded in who he is to everybody. He goes up in the thing, he looks out, he goes, oh, fucking hell. And he comes back down and he realises, like, for him it was very much like, Jesus, that's mental.
Well,
and he just wanted to talk about it. And Bezos stood there and ignored him. I always remember that. Bezos was like, yeah, whatever. You know, like Bezos
Bezos was trying to get him to put it all into words, but he couldn't form the words because he was still trying to process it all.
Yeah, but hi, Stormy. But these women, cackling chickens. Like, honestly, it was embarrassing. I'm sorry, it was embarrassing, and I honestly did try. I thought, no, hang on. I'm watching the news. I'm watching different people report on it. So I went in, I researched, and I wanted to look at each woman individually and think, well, hang on a minute. Is it being reported? Because so much media out there is bullshit, as we know and have learned. So I thought, are they just being cruel because it's the way? No, they weren't just being cruel. It was the women should have got off and said exactly what it was. What a fun ride. That was super fun. Better than any roller coaster I've ever been on. It was super fun, awesome, and left it at that. And everybody would have gone, yep, 6 women went up into space for fun in their tight little costumes, so their boobies all showed off, and came back down to Earth. And it was a promotional stunt. And it was a promotional stunt. A watch was promoted. Thingo's book is Bezos's girlfriend, the little character she had. Hang on, I'll remove that. The little character that when you see them, they grab a little stuffed toy. That's a stuffed toy from Bezos's. Is it a wife or girlfriend? I think she's still only a girlfriend. I'm not sure, but either way. She's got a book, and her book is a little character. So that little stuffed toy, she was promoting her book. Okay, Katy Perry was promoting her concert, hence holding up the little butterfly with her song set on it, her set performance set on it. I don't know what the other 2 women were promoting. Probably their brand, because they're both entrepreneurs and both have websites where they promote different things.
Sure.
And the other one had a watch on, very expensive watch. She was promoting that. So why not just land and say it for what it was? Gosh, that was fun. How it would be marvelous to actually do that for a living and be an astronaut. But I'm not an astronaut. I was merely a passenger on a flight that I didn't control. So woohoo, kudos to the people who brought us down safely. And great promotional thing. This is what we're promoting. But instead, they made it absolutely not about, well, they still made it about the promoting the stuff. But that's why it was embarrassing, because it was just, I'm annoyed. because there's people. My main thing is there are many, many people that have gone before them, real astronauts that have lost their life, given their life to pursue space travel, and 6 women go up and come back and act like they're the be all and end all, and then demanding to be called an astronaut. No. And that's why they're copping so much flack. It's as simple as that. Horrible, horrible women. But that's what I think. Ian had I don't know if Ian's still here. He might have gone because I saw his question, but I hadn't heard about this, so it shows you. But apparently the James Webb Space Telescope, have you heard about this? They spotted, it says, according to Grok, using the James Webb Space Telescope, they've detected molecules like dimethyl sulfate, or DMS, and DMDS in this particular planet called K2-18b. Why can't they give it a name? Which on Earth are produced by living organisms such as marine algae. Some reports called this the strongest evidence yet of potential extraterrestrial life, suggesting that K2-18b could be a hyacinth world with a water ocean and hydrogen-rich atmosphere conducive to conducive to life, because I can't speak today. However, the findings
Did you really
are not
think
conclusive.
I wasn't going to talk about it?
No, you can't. You can. Well, you didn't tell me.
Well,
However, the findings, well, you can tell more about it, but it says that the findings aren't conclusive. So they're just urging caution.
You can talk about it, but I'll finish reading it.
But yeah, shut up. Right, that's it. You're fired. Where's my? Oh, I can't.
Apparently,
I can't
you don't need me anyway. If you're just going to Google something live, it's
all
something
right.
that you
Okay,
know
everybody.
I was going to talk about it.
All right, everybody. Is everybody ready? Let's let Mr. Enzo go first.
No,
do his intro.
don't even play it.
Who's that man in the fancy shirt? Who's the man with the cheeky smirk? Who has the answers? Who can explain? Well, it's Enzo the science guy. Enzo the science guy. Ask him how, ask him why. Enzo the science guy. He's Enzo the science guy.
I just put our first
But
fight.
not our last. Not our last, I guarantee you. Holy shit. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, I'll shut up now. All right,
That's
go for
a
it.
damn
Enzo.
lie, and you know it. You will not shut up. That's the whole problem. Well,
Is this
please pull up my share. Yes, thank you very
Here
much.
we go. Here we go. Here you go, Ian. Are you paying attention?
Home daily life, like someone already read all the different things. About 120 light years away, they detected the James Webb Telescope, which actually this is a Kepler, but anyways, the James Webb Telescope has detected in the atmosphere of this other exoplanet, K2-18b, that it does appear to have, in the atmosphere at least, phytoplankton is living in the ocean and could possibly be there on that planet. There's nothing else on Earth that would create this stuff that we'd have in the atmosphere, as we Karen read earlier, diethymethyl, whatever it is. So this is actually very exciting because this certainly doesn't confirm that there is life there, because we're just seeing the side effect of what we see here on Earth of being, basically microscopic life in the ocean. That here on Earth, that's what we're seeing is in this result. It's a big planet. It's much larger than Earth, as you can see here. And that it's about 2+ sizes, and that's actually fairly common size-wise that we've been finding for planets that are in that Goldilocks zone, not so close to their sun to where it would boil off any water, or not so far away to where that water would freeze. that Goldilocks zone where there would be liquid water are usually a lot bigger than Earth, is what we're discovering. So we got a puny planet apparently in our local neighborhood, at least. But it's gotten a lot of people excited about it because you've got microscopic organisms that could exist there. Does that mean there may be higher life forms than that there? We don't know. Nothing to indicate that. But certainly there's at least microscopic life there. The next you would have to go, to like fish and things like that live in the ocean, and then they would eventually work their way onto land and be able to build something that to communicate with us, where we would actually detect radio waves and things like that. Nothing like that. However, I kind of feel that once we get out and get more things inspected in our own solar system alone, I think we're going to find microscopic life in a lot of places, because microscopic life is life finds a way. It will hang out a lot in a lot of places and has their own niches where they can grow and thrive. But this is actually pretty promising, only 120 light years away. So maybe someday we will get to visit that.
How long would that take?
Well, if you were moving at the speed of light, it would take 120 years to get there. That would be your
Oh, so actually, you know what we need? We need Elon to make a rocket. Well, he's already made a rocket, but do one. He won't be alive. We won't be alive, but his children certainly might be, or his great grandchildren. And then he can put his little what do you call it? Eggs and things on, because by then they'll be able to make babies from a teepee. What do you call it? A dish, petri dish. He can put his robots in some kind of incubator, or maybe even freeze somebody. Like, who knows what the possibilities could be, and then send it off to this planet. The robots can do all the heavy lifting and work and make sure there's an environment. And if it's feasible, then start cooking the babies. And then they can be the nannies as well when the baby's born. But then takes too long. You'd have to have a frozen human an adult human that you could unfreeze. So they've got to work on that a bit better, I think, freezing people. So that,
or just make a faster ship.
Yeah. Karen is shapes. Yes, I'd like to. I like Shapes animations, by the by. They're funny. I like them. I watched the other one you did the other day. But anyway, that's getting off subject. So there you go. So there we are. Anything else you want to talk about, Enzo? I don't want to interrupt.
I don't even know what I've got here. Northern Lights may be visible. This was on April 16th, which they did put off a shot, and a G4 geomagnetic storm hit us. And were there any side effects of that? Oh, yeah. The entire island of Puerto Rico lost power. 1.4 million people plunged in the darkness because of the solar storm itself. Mostly because Puerto Rico's in the bad spot where they're like the first, any kind of Atlantic hurricanes that roll up on North America, they kind of get hit early on. They get the brunt of the heavy stuff when it's first building up. And so they have recovered. About the time that they recover all their electrics on the whole island, another one rolls in and smashes it again. So their electrical system is literally baling wire and duct tape at this point, but through no fault of their own. I can't blame. I'm not blaming them. It's just
news. I saw this. No news yet on the cows. I reckon they've I think someone's just come. Honestly, I think someone's just come in and stolen the cattle. Because can you imagine?
That's a likely thing, but it's just where it is that this happened. It's they went to a lot of trouble to they would had to have herded a lot of these cows to places where they could actually pick them up in trucks, because where it is total wilderness. There's no, I mean, they don't even use four-wheel drives to go out in there. They have to use horses to get out there.
Well, but that's the thing. It's not impossible. It can be done. And when you think of the current
right.
market, as in how expensive meat is, if someone could get that much cattle and then butcher it, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
That's a lot of money. So,
But they would know it was stolen though, because from the Rockies westward, which is where these this was on the western slopes of that part of Colorado, is all brand. It's a brand only notification type area, so all the cattle are branded from whatever ranch they came from. So at some point, somebody had to say, "Wait a minute, you said this was from this ranch, and it's got this marking on it, which isn't that ranch."
yeah, but
So,
you've got to think like a criminal, Enzo. It'd be
oh,
a whole network. So even the butchers, it'll be a network. The butchers doing the butchering, wherever they take them. So I don't know. I mean, because to go the other route means that what, aliens came in and lifted them into a spaceship.
well, that of course is, you know, the way a lot of people would go is it, for our circles, that would be the, you know, the kind of interest where you would say that's a lot of swiped cattle, because the thing is they're not finding giant ruts where trucks have come in or out. They haven't found anything like that. They haven't found any bones or remains from predators, or if they just had, you know, spilled down a cliff or whatever and died. They're not finding any remains of these over 200, well, almost 200 cattle that have disappeared. They're just gone. And there's not an easy way about it, no matter what you say. I mean, yeah, the most logical case would be that somebody herded them up to a place where they could load them all in a truck, which even a full size truck can only hold about 12 to 15 at a time. So you would have had to have made a dozen trips to do that.
But the point is, it's not impossible, because before we had cars, we had cowboys, and cowboys knew how to ride horses, and cowboys knew how to rustle cattle,
Oh,
and so it's
and
not
they had,
impossible.
and back in those days, to move cattle, they actually would herd them along, and they actually had cattle trains, cattle areas where
Yeah,
it was
I
basically
suppose.
like a highway. Somebody would have noticed 200 head rolling by during that time, and that's the thing, is nobody has a clue of
Yeah.
how they
Well, it's a
disappeared.
mystery. It's a mystery. It could have been anything. Who knows? Maybe it was drones.
You know, most likely case is onesie twosies over the period of the winter, kind of a thing, where they picked them all off. But that's somebody that would have to been very busy, and it would have to been a major operation of multiple trucks zipping in and out and all that stuff. You would think somebody would have noticed that there's suddenly this sprouting up of wild cattle that are going to butcher. But as you say, you know, there's a seedy underbelly of the cattle industry, I guess.
And look, and the other thing is too, a lot of people see stuff nowadays and go, and don't even pay attention. So someone could have seen trucks or whatever and just gone, so what? Whoop whoop. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think unless you're aware, unless something went out, missing cattle, and it was over all of the news, and then you see something to report. But a lot of people, God, people see
Well,
friggin'
it's,
really horrible things happen.
it's important to remember that people that live in this area are also cattle ranchers and stuff like. So if they did see somebody suddenly driving off with a whole truck packed full of cattle, which again would be 12 to 15, and they're like, who the fuck is that? What, whose cows are that they're hauling away? You know, it would be that kind of a thing, because that's part of that environment. That's who would actually be in the position, if they saw it, would be in that business, basically, to know.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But anyway, it's all interesting. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but people have been saying UFOs over, well, somewhere, Argentina or Brazil or somewhere. And I'm like, it just looked like someone with a ball on a string. And I'm like, oh my God, more fake stuff. What was that? We need Google Earth to be able to zoom in at certain times. Google, no. Well, yeah.
That would be awesome, having a live Google Earth where you could zoom in and spy on your neighbors.
Yeah, let's go up a posse. Oh, you want me to tell you a joke? I'm not very good at telling jokes, but you want me to tell you a joke? Yeah, I'm terrible at jokes, so this is probably going to be horrible. But because we're talking about rustling, so the sheriff walks into town and he walks into the saloon. Everyone turns around in the saloon and he goes, "Has anybody seen the brown paper cowboy?" And everyone looks up from their drinks at the bar and goes, "What's he look like?" And then, excuse my horrible accent. "Well, he's got a brown paper hat. He's got a brown paper gun. He's got a brown paper pants and a brown paper shirt." And everybody in the bar goes, "Well, what's he wanted for?" And the sheriff says, "Rustling." Do you get it? He's brown paper. He's rustling. Yeah, I think that was anyway. The brown paper girl. Oh, sorry, people. It's just all this talking about rustling.
Well, I don't think I like it.
No. Oh well, never mind. I'm just seeing all the
weird stuff with this guy. Maybe it's because we're in the middle of the Lyriad meteor shower, which you can see up until April 25th. It'll peak here in about 4 or 5 days. Just keep an eye out. Between 3 and 5 a.m. is ideally when you would want to see it, but around April 22nd is when it peaks. So that's a few days. I think I had somewhere in here in this article is 15 to 20 meteors per hour.
Oh, that's a lot. So long as they don't hit anybody's houses when hopefully they'll burn up before they turn into thinning.
We can send those 6 ladies up to take care of it. Maybe they can intercept it.
Well, yeah, maybe they can actually do something.
It would just bounce off of their prosthetic boobs.
Yeah. Oh, I think those ladies and their story will just slowly disappear because at the moment it's just fun to make fun of them because they've allowed themselves to be made fun of. But as I say, just so long as no young ladies or women look upon them as their inspiration, instead look upon actual people doing real things to be inspired by. Even that poor astronaut, what was her name? Dreadful, the one that was caught up there for 9 months. Like, gosh, she went through hell, and then she come back with even grayer hair. So would I. Being up there 9 months, were they 9 months? I think, yeah. But they were very gracious. They were very gracious though, because when they got back, they didn't point fingers about why they were stranded up there and all that sort of thing. They were pretty gracious. They played both sides, but quite frankly, I would have just gone off my nut. I would have sued. I would have sued someone, anyone, for leaving me up there when they didn't have to. But there you go. Yeah, real astronauts. As I say, there's many tons of male astronauts, but tons of females as well, like women that have absolutely trained to become astronauts and gone into space. And as I said earlier, died in their pursuit of that. So they're the ones that young ladies should look to and go, wow, they went to school, they studied really hard, they learned all this stuff, they worked hard to get accepted into the NASA program, they trained, or whatever country they come from, because I know Russia still, I believe, still does it. So, you know, they're the sort of people, they're the sort of women that young ladies can look at for inspiration, and young men. But then there's plenty of male astronauts, or even I would have been inspired. I would have been inspired by the male astronauts as well, not just the female. Just be inspired by people who actually work hard to get to where they are and put in all the effort, not just someone who goes on a joyride for a couple of hours and then claims to want to be called an astronaut. I don't know, but that was that. What else?
We got a post here from Anna Paulina Luna, representative out of Florida, who's on the basically on the Congressional UFO Committee. posted this yesterday. Basically, they're going to have when the next congressional UFO meeting is. Someone asked last week about it. They're having a skiff briefing with experts on April 29th, roundtable on the 30th or May 1st. I don't know if that's going to be televised, but the actual hearing will be the week of May 12th. So we got a few weeks at least, but it's in the works.
Well, there you go. Is she the lady? Is that the lady that is in charge at the moment with the JFK things and also all of that stuff? Is that her?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's her.
it looks like her. She's a smart cookie. I see that the RFK paperwork has come out, but there's something like 800. I can't remember. It was 800,000. 80,000. So we'll see. But the long and the short is we all know the answer. There was someone in government that wanted all of those Kennedys gone, and yeah, it is what it is. It was an inside job for sure, and it was absolutely the CIA and FBI had something to do with it. But who told them to do it? So yeah, it is what it is. We know it's just that we hope the paperwork chucks out some names if it ever does. But yeah, it's kind of a bit of a nothing burger, really, all of the stuff, because nothing. We already know, and there's stuff in the paperwork that confirms pretty like what you would think, but again, it's just really, really hard. Most of the people are dead now anyway, but still, it's good for the families to know that it wasn't a random person. You know what I mean? But there you go. Well, people, we're nearly to the end of time. 5 minutes to go. Does anybody got anything to ask? I was going to get Enzo. Enzo shared some photographs with me of him in his army days, but we can talk about that. No, but I don't. I haven't got it on this computer. It's on my laptop. I'd have to download them again. But yeah, Enzo does have some funny, interesting, would say. So next week when we're talking Enzo, we'll talk about it. Nothing much, just some funny stories that he had from his time in the army. And I thought the ladies might want to see what he looks like in uniform. A man in a uniform, always good things to look at. No, and he sent me a picture of Enzo with a boom boom. I've got to be careful what you say. You can't even use the word G-U-N anymore. But yeah,
What?
but it is what it is. Yeah, so you're not allowed to say G-U-N on the YouTube. Yeah, you've got to say boom, boom, boom. Like
pew pew.
I don't know. Pew pew. That's it. You got to say pew pew. Like far out. Google and YouTube, fair income. But I mean, that's the one thing I miss. The one thing that I think is really, really stupid with YouTube is the fact that you cannot say the words to describe exactly what it is you're describing, because the word like unaliving yourself. Like, how ridiculous! It's the English language which has a word that you can use which has a meaning. Why do they say you can't use it? It's just stupid. I know, it's really silly, Pocket Watch. It really is silly. Well, everybody,
like everyone to go up from that one to Julie's comment.
Going up, where am I going? Here.
Yeah. Positive thoughts going up to Julie, going into surgery on Monday. Yeah.
Just enjoy. I love being put to sleep. I could get put to sleep every day. Do you know why I love being put to sleep, Julie? Because it's the only time I actually get to sleep properly. But there you go. So good luck with Monday. You'll be right. Doctors wouldn't operate on you if they didn't think it's a doable thing. Well, why would that be cringe? I don't understand, Jethro. He can ask me, but I can't have babies anymore, so I'm no good to him. I mean, the richest man in the world asks you to have his baby. Okay, no worries. Just so long as I've got a house that I can raise them in, no worries. And just so long as you come and have a Sunday roast with the kids, it's all good. But there you go. I don't find it's cringe. Why would that be cringe? Did he do it funny? Like, I don't know. Did he say, will you have my baby on public? Oh, like, I don't know. He's allowed to ask anybody he wants. I'm just jealous he didn't ask me. God damn it. But as I say, I can't have babies anymore. So there you go. All done with that. But yeah, I don't know. I think the reason that I've been looking into it, the human population is in decline. It's just, we're going to kill ourselves off eventually. How, I don't know, but people aren't having babies anymore. It's, so I think it's just he wants to, but there you go.
He's doing his part to repopulate the planet.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He absolutely is. What's Kibber saying?
Johnny Appleseed.
My brother-in-law was given a Purple Heart for cutting his thumb opening a beer canter in Rockport, but he told his superior to give it to someone who did it. You know what, Kibber? It's funny. They used to do stuff like that back then. It's really weird. So, but that was really, I'm glad that your father-in-law did the right thing. I would have said the same thing. But yeah.
I knew a guy, he was in the Marines. He was in Afghanistan, and he had to go to the bathroom. So they had one of those portable, porta-john kind of things. He goes in there, and a sniper started attacking the position, and apparently saw him go in there. He got shot in the shoulder while taking a crap.
On the
and
toilet.
they're like, hey, we can pull you out your thing for a Purple Heart. It's like, I ain't taking that Purple Heart for nothing. I'm not going to tell that story to my grandkids that I got shot while I was taking a poop.
Oh, geez. Jethro, remember, this is an Elon-friendly channel. I happen to think he is wonderful, smart, and is doing a lot of good things. And so careful is all I'll say. I've warned people before. I won't have anything nasty said about Elon. He's autistic, and he's done well to get over that. And he's rich, and he's clever, and he does a lot of good things. So there you go. So yeah, everybody, I hope that you do have a good Easter, because it's time for me to go. I'm already 1 minute over, and have a wonderful Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate. Don't get sick. Relax. If you've got days off, have a nice holiday. If you have to go to work, well, I hope they give you lots of chocolate to make up for it. And yeah, everybody have a wonderful Easter. Same time next week, more than likely. And I will show you a picture of Enzo in his uniform next week.
I should have never sent that to you. That was a mistake.
But there you go. I can always make up a cheeky one. Don't worry. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much. And yeah, and that's my rants, and that's Enzo. And Enzo, you've witnessed Enzo and my first fight on air. Oh,
it will not be the last. We will fight again.
And so yeah, everyone have a wonderful Easter. Stay safe, and just be kind and be good, and yeah, we'll see you next time. See you next week. Bye.